Number 5 is invest in meeting people. And I didn't really understand the value of this until I started really building my own company, because what I realized is the biggest differentiator of a successful company and a non-successful company are the people that are working inside of that company. And if you can't find good people to help you find investment opportunities, to find new wealth building opportunities, to find new income generating opportunities and actually build them, it's going to be very difficult because you can't do everything yourself. And this is where, if you don't have a lot of money, you want to put yourself in a position where you can meet people who have money. I remember I went to Boca Raton a few years ago, and this was such an interesting experience for me because I went there just to go think. It was a thinking trip. I know, weird concept, but I went there to just kind of spend some time thinking. It's this very expensive area in Florida. And I remember going to the gym there, and it was such an interesting experience because I was sitting in the hot tub area, and a couple of guys were there, older guys, and one guy starts talking to the other about his real estate deal. And he was talking about how he was getting ready to sell his apartment complex for about $250 million. A very casual conversation, but it really opened my eyes to, oh wow, where you are can really change the type of conversations you're around, the type of people that you're around, and the environment that you're around. Because if the people around you are talking about $50 transactions, about buying stupid things, about blowing money on dumb things, versus other people are talking about buying and selling apartment complexes, you're going to be in a very different environment. And so now the question is, how can you put yourself in a different environment? And there's a lot of ways to do this. Again, you can start on the internet, find social communities, digital communities online. If that's not going to work, go out and find physical communities, which I do recommend. Meeting people in person is so much better than doing it remotely. And so now, how do you do that? Well, there's conferences all the time in many different sectors and many different assets that you can go out and start attending and start meeting people. And you might say, well, Jaspreet, I don't have money to buy tickets to go to a conference. Fine. Go and be a volunteer at that conference. That way you can get in for free, or at least get a super big discount. A lot of conferences will give free tickets to people who are going to go there and be volunteers, but at least now you get access into the event. You can learn from the speakers, and then you can go and network as well. This is where now it's who you're putting yourself around. That way you can meet successful people, you can meet smart people, and you can meet the people that are actually innovating and changing. Because in order for you to get out of the situation that you're in, you might need a completely different set of friends, but that's going to require you to put yourself in a different environment. And finally, number 6. This one I kind of made a bonus one because this one is an investment in non-financial things which can kind of indirectly translate to more financial success. And what I mean by here is investing in the non-financial part of your life. Investing in the physical part of your life, the mental part of your life, and the spiritual part of your life. And no, you don't need a lot of money to doing this. If you don't got money for a gym membership, start going on walks. Eat better foods, go out for runs, do push-ups, go to a park and do some pull-ups. There are ways that you can take care of yourself, but you got to take care of your physical health. Because if you're just spending all of your time working, which I get it, you got to do that in the early stages, but you're just putting a whole bunch of junk in your body and you're not taking care of the way that you look and feel, well, you're not going to be in great shape for that long. It's the same thing with your mental health. If you're surrounded by people that are toxic, that are not supporting you, that are not helpful for where you're trying to go, it's okay to have doubters. I mean, you can use that as fuel, but there's a difference between having people that are very toxic, that are holding you back from becoming successful. Then you got to get a change of environment, and you got to put yourself in somewhere else and start learning about how you can build a positive mindset. Again, YouTube and podcast is going to be a great resource for you. Same thing with your spiritual health. One of the things that you can do is just start journaling. Write down your thoughts. Why do you feel like you're here? What is your purpose? And you know, I'm not one of those people that say you got to find your purpose to do things, because I think that's a whole bunch of crap. Everybody's purpose changes pretty often. My purpose changed many times in the last 10 years. I'm sure yours probably will too. But you got to understand, what is your drive? Because if you go out and become very financially successful, what is the reason now to get out of bed when you have $10 million in the bank? You got to ask yourself that, because that's what you're working towards. And if you get there, you don't want to be that person that's now very miserable because now you have all the financial success, but no reason to really be happy or fulfilled. This is where I want you to start thinking about these things and invest in your non-financial health as well, because now you can live a truly fulfilled life. And the interesting thing here is it can also help you make more money as well, because when you're physically healthy, you can also have more energy to work harder and work more efficiently and work better. Same thing with your mental health. When you're anxious and stressed, it can be hard to be productive with your work. When you're always worried about what's happening in your home, and you go to work and now your whole mind is at home because you have all these stressful things happening with your wife or your husband or your kids, it's hard to let that go and just start working. But if you have a healthy mental health, well, now you can also be more focused and be more efficient and be more productive with your work. It's the same thing with your spiritual health. If you feel like the work that you're doing is against what's important to you in life, you're not going to be able to succeed. The first real business I started was in the event planning company. I was essentially hosting parties for college kids. I was in college when I was doing it, along with other things, doing concerts and shows. But I wasn't into partying. I wasn't into drinking. It was a hustle. It was a way for me to make money, and we were making great money doing this. But I didn't feel good doing it. I didn't feel spiritually fulfilled, which is why I ultimately just stopped the business. Even though it was making a lot of money, even though we built a great brand and a great reputation, I didn't want to be associated with that, so I just stopped. And this is where you got to start thinking a little bit bigger as well, because as you're working on your financial journey, I also want you to live a happy and fulfilled life. I've talked about this many times. My goal for you isn't just to have a big bank account and be miserable. Because, well, what's the point at that point? I want you to have the big bank account and be happy and fulfilled at the same time. That way you can truly live a happy and fulfilled life, because yes, money is important, but it's not the only thing. You got to live a happy and fulfilled life, which means you got to be physically fit, mentally fit, spiritually fit, and of course, financially fit as well. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.